In this tutorial, we'll take a look at using bibliographic sources, references, and citations in ChapterLab. To add a new bibliographic source to your project, simply right-click on the Bibliographic Sources folder and select New Bibliographic Source. This will open an editor where I can start entering my information. I'm just going to copy and paste here. And you'll notice that as I type, down below, the reference is being generated automatically. Currently, ChapterLab only supports the Harvard style of reference, but we will be supporting APA and other formats in the future. To add authors, simply click the Add button and type in the authors' names, and ChapterLab will ensure that the reference is formatted correctly depending on the number of authors. So if I add a third, then it will say Root et al. But I'm just going to remove that. So now that we have a bibliographic source and the corresponding reference, we can start inserting citations in our manuscript. So I'm just going to open a text block. And here I've already got a quote from that paper, and now I just want to say where it's from. So I'm just going to make sure that the text cursor is positioned where I want to insert the citation, and then if I right-click and choose Insert Bibliographic Citation, then it'll let me choose the bibliographic source. So I can either just click on it here, or if I have a huge list, then I can start typing the first letters and then select it that way. Now, citations can take various forms. Sometimes you want the author's name and date of publication just in parentheses. Sometimes you want to refer to the authors in the text, and then you need the date in parentheses after it. Sometimes you want a page number, so I'm just going to choose that one. And it inserts the citation right into your text. You will notice that the font, the style, doesn't match the body text. We'll be fixing that in the next release. But rest assured that if you export your document, it will appear in the correct surrounding style. If you right-click on the citation, you can go to the bibliographic source again. And one question that has been raised is it possible to change the page number once you've inserted a citation? Well, unfortunately not, but you can always simply delete the citation with the backspace key, for instance, and then reinsert the citation with a changed page number. Now, if you have a bunch of bibliographic sources in your book or thesis, you probably want to have a bibliography section, and ChapterLab will generate that for you automatically. If you go anywhere in the manuscript folder and choose Insert Special Document Element Bibliography, it will create the bibliography for you. This is a generated node. It's a special node where you can't actually edit the text, but you can change the title if you wanted to call this references, for instance. I'll just set it back. In fact, you can insert multiple bibliography nodes. I can't imagine why you'd want to do that, but you certainly can. And ChapterLab will ensure that the bibliography is always up to date. If I change anything here, then if I go back, it will have corrected that automatically already. One question that has been asked is it possible to find all of the places in your manuscript where you're referring to a certain bibliographic source? And the answer is yes. So I'm just going to choose the one that I want to search for. So if I right-click on it and I go to Find References to Selected Objects, I get a little search results box here, and it tells me that this questionnaires node is referring to that bibliographic source, and that's the only one in my manuscript. But if there were other nodes, I'd be able to see them here. So that's a quick introduction to using bibliographic sources and citations in ChapterLab. We are going to continue to develop this and add support for APA format and other formats in the future, and we are hoping to support the BibTax format as well for interoperability with other academic software.